All right, silly nonsense. More silly, the better silly nonsense. Let's take a look at our recruitment class. I do still want to get to renaming tonight. All that fun stuff. First and foremost, let's get dudes off the board who we didn't get. I don't really care if they were good or bad. Because at this point, they're not our players, so what the hell do I care, right? What the hell do I care? But, all right, let's see. Quarterbacks. Wheels, I'm tempted. Kalen Naylor ended up with normal dev, so did Kearns. Okay, so just two dudes. Riker, take it easy, buddy. Appreciate you. Hope you're doing well. Congrats again. Did any of these running backs end up being good? Nope. They are literally just dudes. Obsky, what's up, man? Hey, there we go. Impact Dev tight end. Emmett Barnes as a pure blocker as well. He fits our scheme perfectly. That's looking good. Normal dev for the tackles. Normal dev. Even Fort was normal dev. Come on, man. For the edge rushers, normal dev. Normal dev. Impact dev for Cade Kimron. At least one of them had above normal dev. Thank God. Our first star dev. Kiki Butts. Hell yeah. Hell yes. We finally have a star dev player. And it's a defensive tackle. Kiki Butts. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Normal dev for Tyler Cedar. Normal dev for Coker. Normal. Oh my God. Oh, two impact devs at the end. Connor Jackson and Javante Subtle. Okay. Safeties. Normal devs. And the punter, normal dev. Okay, so a couple of impact devs, one star dev, mostly normal, which was to be expected. Top 5 classes, Ohio State, Michigan, Bama, Georgia, and LSU. We were not at the bottom again. We were just in the bottom 100, though. 102 overall. I don't really know how the more 3 stars, that's why. Never mind, I misread it. I was kind of looking at Vanderbilt first. I was going to say, how the hell was Vanderbilt? But yeah, that makes sense. In terms of the people we may have lost to the portal, of course, we like to check. We named our initial players after members of chat. I do want to see where certain people might have departed to. So quarterbacks. Shadowstalker went to Delaware. Outstanding. Shadowstalker off to Delaware. B Major retires from football. Running back wise. We didn't lose anybody there. I don't know if we lost a fullback. We didn't. Wideouts. Who did we lose at wide receiver? Nobody. Did we lose anybody at tight end? No, we did not. Offensive tackle. We lost Loka to retirement, and he rose a spot on the chart. Went to Coastal Kakalaki. Outstanding. What about for guard? It might, Bomb, it doesn't show everybody if I try to do that. I tried to do it before. A lot of other players there. What about edge rushers? Holy hell. Alex Eddy off to Boston College. Judas. Seth MacFarlane goes to Louisiana Monroe. Maury Harris retires. Dark Void goes to Syracuse. What a dick. Ahmad Foster retires. Obina Onwuka retired. Dude, screw you. Come on, man. What about defensive tackles? The amount of guys that just leave and it's like, yeah, I'm not going anywhere else. Alex Dunn elects to retire. At least as I'm deeming it. Outside linebackers, Zach Smith and Maxwell Lashley Benjamin, both just into the void. Middle linebackers, we didn't lose anybody. Corners, didn't lose anybody. Free safeties. Didn't lose anybody. Strong safety. Kamori Dixon is off to SMU. Okay. And did we lose our punter? We did not. He might have just disappeared. I don't even know. But, all right, that is the board. Again, we did okay. We got a star dev player, which is pretty nice. We do need to go through our position changes. It shouldn't take too long. Our punter is still there, and he is worse than the other guy. Jesus. Farrell is going to be our punter this year. And because of the better kick accuracy, Crying Leafs fan will still be our kicker. Can we move Ace Boy anywhere else? No, he just sucks. Cool. He just sucks. Safety-wise, we got some people we're probably going to want to move. Actually, our initial check, as per usual, needs to be for tackling. We need to see if there's anybody on the defensive side of the ball who just cannot tackle worth a damn. 36 tackling for Clay Golston, for example. I'm not even going to wait for that to develop. Running back. Get the hell out of a defensive position. You are horrific. Like, we need dudes who can tackle. If it's sub 50 tackling, I'm moving you elsewhere. We are just not going to deal with that. And then, if there's anybody with good tackling that's on the offensive side of things, we can look to move them to defense. So, Fat Nappernick, but he's obviously going to stay at running back. That's an obvious one. Okay, so we should be good for the offensive-defensive split. So, let me back out really quickly because the sorting issue is still there. So, first and foremost, the secondary. Again, we still like it to be based on speed more than anything. Like, we need our secondary to be fast and not get torched. Snipe is still fine there. Durante Spear is a little bit too slow for a safety for me. Amani Okarike is very much too slow for me. Might have to go to linebacker for the moment because defensive edge just isn't working for him. Frank, you are also going to linebacker for the moment. Too slow for the secondary. Then at corner, Rodney Wing is a little bit slow. Can play linebacker. But aside from that, we're looking okay in terms of the amount of options in the secondary that we could even move back down. Tyler Cedar, just way too slow to be a linebacker. He's a better edge rusher anyway, so that's fine. Everybody else there is good. 79 speed's fine. William Coker, gonna move you to the edge. Gotta do it. Everybody else there is fine. And then on the other side... Okay, so honestly, like, our linebacker depth, our secondary depth is looking okay. What about defensive line? Osling is so slow. So slow. Go to defensive tackle. Dwayne Lord could be a linebacker, but he is a much better member of the secondary. But you know what? Let's see if we can train him up at linebacker. Kimron is also just slower than what we prefer. So is Lanning. I gotta disable Tipsy. It plays way too much. Alright, so that would be the defensive tackle. Hey, Marsteller might be a starter this year. That would be the defensive tackle situation, which is looking great. Defensive end, if we needed to move somebody back who was significantly better, like Lord, who is 10 points better, we can move him back. That's fine. Is anybody else here? Because we have so many damn linebackers. You know what? Let's start from here. Anybody that has decent enough man coverage. We'll say above 65. I need to consider at corner over safety. So cheerleading team was full. Let's also check you out. All right. And then at corner, anybody under a 65? Yes. So Max McGoulahan, put you at safety for now. Train that up. And Racing Jays can also go to safety. Is there anybody whose zone coverage is significantly better than their man coverage? Ian Williams and BK both apply. We do play a lot of zone, in fairness. But yeah, Williams and BK are the two primaries that could move to safety if we need them. And given that BK is not even that good here, let's just move him over. And, I mean, Williams is our second best corner, but we got a lot of younger dudes who are going to be in the mix. And we can move somebody back to linebacker. So, you know what? For Williams, you're also going to go to safety. You are also going to go to safety. So, corner is looking okay, honestly. And what about its safety? Get Telfair at strong safety side. So we got two decent strong safeties. Sorry to Jays. And then free safety, we got the extra dude. I think we're looking good for secondary depth. Linebackers. Anybody that has decent enough zone coverage, we got to check you as a middle linebacker. Knowing that you might be patrolling the middle, so that includes Coco as well. Anybody else? And the answer is yes. Honestly, there's enough people that anything over a 70. So, Coco, you are immediately going back to the outside. Back in the doghouse with you. And then Okarike, we want to check you as a light. Okay. So, anybody here, are you a significantly better edge rusher? Secondary is fine, but if anybody here is significantly better on the edge, we can drop them down. What about Gimmick Thief? He's 1 point better. He is also the best linebacker on that side right now. What about Max? Better there. So maybe Gimmick Thief moves down. What about Riding Pine? He's also fine there. And what about Frank, the new addition? He's fine there too. Okay. So congratulations to old Gimmick Thief. You get to go back down to the defensive end. Then the middle linebackers, because there's a ton of them. Any of you guys better at defensive end? Is the question. What about old Rusty Shack? Just need to know if anybody here is a better fit at defensive end. Otherwise, we're going to have a hell of a lot of linebackers, which isn't a bad problem to have. Honestly. We do have a lot of upperclassmen, too. Like all these dudes are perfectly fine playing linebacker. Dylon Worthen. Can move you down. About CJ Lake. Lake is good where he is. And then Trevor Dunn. It's also good where he is. Okay. So. Anybody we can move out here to play outside linebacker. Some of these guys can't tackle worth a shit either. Who is better as an outside linebacker? He's best in the middle. CJ Lake, apparently. Looked like Trevor Dunn was able to move to the outside successfully, and he can, so we'll move him to the left. About Durante Spear. Good where he is. In terms of optimizing the team, we're looking pretty good. Or what, however the hell you say that, is good to go. What about Rodney Wing? Better on the outside. About old Rusty Shackelford. Also good where he is. Then we only got one more guy to check, and the defense is set. Or it all keeps me standing. Put him on the outside. So we should be good. So defensive edge. edge, of course, we have Will Bartow, Wayne Lord, Cowboy Shit, Coker. On the other side, Worthen, Gimmick Thief, a bunch of dudes battling for that top spot, where it's pretty much guaranteed that Bartow is the starter on the other side. Bunch of dudes in the mix at defensive tackle, especially a ton of freshmen. Linebackers at the moment, Trevor Dunn's there, and of course we still haven't gotten our upgrades. Lake and Spear in the middle, Cole on the right. Corners, good numbers, still need to train it up quite a bit, but that's looking okay. The offense is always more tricky. Always more tricky. So Dallas Warren, we're going to move you to the middle. Anu Westerman's not really all that mobile. Move him to the middle as well. Matthew Way also can barely move. We can move Elsewhere Warrior back to the outside for the moment. Some of these guys might be able to upgrade to tight ends, by the way. They might not have the speed we're looking for, but it could happen. All right, so we got a bunch of dudes on the outside. Let's move Levi Berry to the left tackle. So right tackles right now. Please throw the ball. Marvin Cockrell, not the highest rated dudes. Other side is Berry, and what would Jesus do for a Klondike bar? Bunch of guys at center. And then honestly, at guard, there's not too much else we can really do. Tyler Fort might end up playing this year, too. So Mobski, move him to left guard. And we'll move the lowest rated of the bunch. That'll be Elsewhere, also over to left guard. So I lied about tight ends. I mean, we will have some extra centers, so technically, like if it shows them as being good at tight end, they could play there. Let's move. Please throw the ball to the other side. And then the highest rated dude here, Levi Berry, goes to right tackle. So, O-line's looking okay. And then we have everything else. Everything else. Including some dudes that are slower than I need them to be. So Rodney Kearns, 79 speed isn't too bad. For the moment, you need to go to tight end. And Naylor also doesn't quite have the speed that we need. So for the moment, you go to tight end. Nappernick stays. Zay Mayo, not that fast. You also go to tight end. Zach Chun only has 80 speed. Let's put him at wideout. Trevor Shaw, also not that fast. I yearn for the days where we're going to have more scouting points so I can actually see how fast some of these dudes are before we bring them in. Because that's what's killing us right now. Is it's like, oh yeah, no, this guy's fast. And then you look at him and it's like, no, they're not. Granted, these were the north-south blockers, which is okay that we're moving them somewhere else then. Because at least they can block. Even if their overall is going to be big trash garbage. Okay, so running backs, at least an 85 speed. Nappernick is the exception. Fullbacks, looking a little bit better. And then, of course, we have Riskett, who should probably switch out of wide receiver. We haven't been running too many jet sweeps. There's been a lot more options. All these guys are around 80 speed. We are going to want them more in the mix at fullback. And we have all these goddamn tight ends, man. Holy. These are just the guys where I don't know where else to put them. They are literally just dudes. They are just dudes that do not fit what we need. So, anybody at 80 speed will be a wideout. Anybody above like a 75 can be in the mix at fullback. We could even try to spread the wealth for tight ends. I mean, they're mostly blockers. Like, they gotta have some speed. Maybe going with 10 running backs this season isn't a good idea. I have no idea what you're talking about. Burns can be in the running at wideout with that speed. Yeah, Zay Mayo. I mean, where you might have a lot of guys in the running at wideout here. We got Shawl. We also want to put you at wideout. Again, this is where the strangeness of the challenge really kind of shows itself here, and just how we're having to set up offensively. And this is why our offensive rating is always going to suck. There's a lot of potential dudes in the mix at wideout. A lot. Anybody above a 75 speed can be in the mix of fullback, honestly. Obviously, they're not going to be the fast. Honestly, we might even want people to be faster. We might need the wideouts to be in the mix of fullback, because at least they're a bit faster. I might need to invert that. Then we get a lot of dudes who are just not that quick. So have the tight ends probably be the slowest of the bunch. Then the wideouts, then the fullbacks. That's kind of crazy, but that might be what we have to do. So Shame and Fear will move over. Kalen Naylor, who was a quarterback, we're going to put you at fucking fullback. So slowest of the bunch is at tight end. Next slowest group probably needs to be 80 plus, or sub 80 speeds. So yeah, these guys need to be wideouts, and then the wideouts need to be... Oh, the wideouts need to be the fullbacks based on the speed. I cannot wait to see these upgrades, by the way. Cannot wait to see what these skill caps are going to be for some of these guys. It is going to be atrocious. Got old habanero meatball going to wideout. I mean, in theory, we could leave some of these guys in their best rated positions, but again, like, they're just not going to fit the team need at all. All right, so anybody sub 75 speed at tight end. Anybody sub 80 speed is at wide out, which means we are going to have a bajillion fullbacks. A bajillion, I believe, is the term. Oh, boy. Good old dad gets to be a fullback. I don't catch ball gets to be a fullback. And if some of these guys can keep developing their speed, maybe they do get to switch to another position if they aren't one of the ones to get cut. Which they might be. A lot of competition. A lot of competition for very few key spots. Which is kind of nuts. At least we have 85 players. Possible. Yeah, exactly. At least we have choices. We like options. Let's see, if I were to move the 79 speeds, I wouldn't be left with enough wideouts. So 79 speed is going to equate to a wideout. So fullback-wise, so many dudes. So many dudes. And then Tarnaski can be moved back to wideout. Our rating is always going to be terrible, though. Between graduations, transfers, and just the sheer amount of people that we bring in and then play out of position, always going to be this way. Apparently, Barham could be a pretty solid offensive lineman, or even really even a solid lineman. But again, none of these other linemen are really fast enough to trust to play outside. We'll put Barham at tight end. Yeah, if you want to play for Tug Lane, you're going to play where we tell you you're playing. So, fullbacks. 80 speed. Somewhere between 80 and 85 speed. Wideouts between 75 and 80 speed. Tight ends sub 75 speed. Linemen sub 70 speed. So between the running backs and the quarterbacks, we probably want to put the fastest at quarterback, you know? I'm thinking that's the best way to go. So, like, risk it for the biscuit. Put him at QB. And we got Wenkus. I think we could move Pauly over, too. We haven't done renaming yet, no. So then we can move old Becker Wenkus over to running back. So that leaves us 3 running backs of at least 89 speed. Running backs anywhere, typically between an 85 and an 89. Technically, we'll allow Nappernick. I think we're good. In terms of the setup, we're good. Now the question is, what type of development do we see from these guys on top of whatever the hell the renaming might be, you know? On top of whatever the hell the renaming might be. So, training results. A bunch of people are obviously going to have points, right? We'll have to assign those. Or some people gain height and weight as well. That training screen is important, but not as important as it was prior, especially because we're not doing auto upgrades. So that overall is obviously very misrepresented right now. In terms of encouraged transfers, we need to cut 6 people. 6 people need to go. Technically, it's going to be 5. I guess we had a walk-on punter? Camden Koch out of nowhere said, actually, I will sign here. So 50 and 07, who is absolutely terrible, he's gone. And then Koch was someone who we sent a scholarship to, but didn't immediately sign with us. He's here now, which is pretty good, actually. I mean, I'll take that. Klutz, I don't know if he was here before either. He's also here. Definitely have some dudes signing up. Out of nowhere. I don't think we need to cut anybody there. So tight end wise, none of these guys have a good overall in that position. Well, actually, that's a lie. Wideouts, I mean, Barham is a senior, but we know he can block. Actually tough to say who we should cut here. Also, Clay Golston just showed up out of nowhere, too. And there's all the fullbacks. I actually don't want to cut anybody, to be honest. I really don't want to. But we got to get rid of somebody. Got to get rid of people. 5 dudes got to go. Fullback-wise, there's no real upperclassmen. Wideout-wise, we do have 2 seniors. So Big Boy and Chad Barham. I mean, honestly, we have enough talent there. We can move on from them, and they're not the fastest. Yeah, Chad, sorry, buddy. You're not going to make the cut. Big Boy. I have yet to cut anybody in this timeline. Big Boy's guy sucks, dude. He can't block worth a damn. So he's gone as well. I haven't... Big Boy will be the only one of you guys that I actually cut by choice. And then, actually, well, he won't be because Jay Marty is also terrible. We're going to say goodbye to Jay Marty. Is there anybody else that kind of fits the bill? Yeah, Big Boy, you can be mascot, and Jay Marty can be the water boy. You guys are still a part of the Toog Lane family. Rest assured. Rest assured. We got Adam, the sports guy. I don't really want to cut. He's our 3rd best corner right now. BK isn't going to be a good enough backup player. Buck will take over. BK is also gone. We got to keep snipe and score. We got 1 more dude to cut. We lost most of our 80s to graduation. Fullback-wise... Pingus Jr. Wideout-wise... Habanero meatball. Or tight end. I don't want to cut Courtney Audacity, but somebody had to go. Shout out to Courtney Audacity, hell of a name. But somebody had to go. Somebody had to go. We are definitely doing the portal dance, yeah. 100%. Okay, so we do need to take a look at upgrades to see what the team's going to look like. Before we do that, schedule for this season. New Mexico State, Colorado on the road, FCS East, our biggest rivals, and Tulsa to end the season. A relatively kind schedule in terms of, like, you know, there's no Texas, for example, to absolutely destroy us. But yeah, we need to go through the red shirts. We need to do our renamings. All that fun